Welcome to Computer Tech TV. My name is Rick Arter. In today's video I will be testing two Western Digital Velociraptor 150GB 10,000 RPM hard drives. These are not my hard drives, these are for a good friend of mine on YouTube, and he wanted me to pick them up off eBay for him and do some tests because he's had a few hard drive issues. So he wanted me to run a few tests, load them up with data. I'm going to run hard drive tune and just give you guys a quick close-up here. Enterprise storage, some digital Velociraptor, and I did an unboxing of these. If you guys want to check it out, I'll put the link below. There's your power and data cable hookups. So basically what I'm going to do is I'm going to have to move around a few things, take some drives out of my tech station, and I'll get right to that in a second. Okay, so we're looking at the hard drive cage in my tech station here. I'll give you guys a overview. There's my tech station, or test bench, whatever you want to call it. And this is not strapped down, this is just sitting on here. I have a fan on the back of it. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to pull all the power and data cables out. I'm going to remove this drive. I'm going to take out the two, I'm going to take the middle drive here, which I'm currently not using, and then this top drive, which is my other storage drive, and this is my OS drive down here. I'm going to leave that one in, pull these two out, and I'll put the two Velociraptors inside of there, and I will power them up. I'm going to run hard drive tune on each of them, and we'll go from there. Okay, well, I've removed all the screws from these top two drives. Let's just go ahead and slide them out. See there, our Western Digital 1TB. It's our main storage drive, and we have a Seagate Barracuda 7200.1 250GB as a Windows 7 drive that I had. It's got a few problems, so I'm going to have to redo that so I could run my Windows 7. Now what I'm going to do is just leave this bottom drive in here, which is another Western Digital 1TB. That's my current OS drive and storage. So now I'm going to take these two Velociraptors. I'm going to screw them in there with our included screws here, and then I will power them up. Both drives are installed, as you can see. Now it's time to put the cage back into the tech station, hook up our power and data cables here, and then we'll be set to go. Both drives are installed into the cage, and all data and power cables are installed, as you can see. Only drive I have remaining is my 1TB drive there at the bottom. The rest two are the Veloci 150s. And all of our data cables are hooked up here into the motherboard. So now it's time to flip the power switch on the power supply, and I'm going to check in BIOS to make sure both drives show up. Okay, well, I'm in BIOS now. As you can see, all three of our hard drives are showing up. That is always a good sign. But it's not the end of the road yet. So now it's time to boot up into Windows. And then I'm going to run the hard drive tune software on both of the drives. I'm going to run an error check as well as a performance check to see how these drives are running. Well, after the drives are detected by BIOS, most of the time you're not going to be able to see them in Windows. So what you got to do is you need to go to your disk management section of your Windows, and we're basically in there right now. As you can see, we have our two Western Digital drives here, registering at 139.73 gigabytes apiece, and they're both unallocated. So what you got to do is you got to create a volume on them. So you want to right click, go to simple volume, and then it'll bring up a wizard here. Hit next, and then we basically want to use the whole drive. He can separate them or do what he's going to do with them. After he gets them, he can reformat them if he needs to. Then basically want to assign a drive letter, which isn't really that big of a deal. We're just going to go ahead and let it assign the drive letter G. And we're going to format the volume. NTFS, allocation size default, and we'll just leave the name to new volume. And we'll just let it do a normal format, not a quick one, and we're not going to enable file or folder compression at this time. So hit next, and then it's going to complete this, gives you a list of all the stuff you're going to do here, and hit finish. And then both of the Raptor drives have been formatted. As you can see here, we have disk 1 and disk 2, 139.73 gigabytes in the NTFS format there, and both of them say healthy partition, which is good. So now basically what I'm going to do is just open this up, open up my computer here, and as you can see, both drives show up. It's always good, and you can go in and double click, and there's nothing in them right now. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to run the hard drive tune benchmark on both drives. Hard drive tune right there. Let's open that up. I'm just running the free trial for now. And we want to scroll down to our first drive. I'm going to run the test here, and then I'll show you guys the results. Well, I've completed the read tests on Hard Drive Tune Pro 4.6. Here's the one drive. We're looking at 73.3 megabytes minimum, 122 megabytes maximum. Average is 99.4. Access time is 7.28. Burst time is 219.5. And CPU usage is 14.8. You can see there. And then our second drive here is 78.4 minimum, 129.8 max, 108.3 average, 7.01 millisecond access time, 210.4 burst, and 19.6 CPU. Now I am going to test each drive doing the error scan here. So I'm just going to fire it up on the first drive, and we're going to let that run, show you the results, and then I'll run the second drive and show you the results. First drive has been scanned, and as you can see, came out perfectly good. Now it's time to scan the second drive. Start that out, and I'll be back in a few minutes when this is complete. The second drive is done checking for errors, and as you can see, it came out perfect. No errors, no damaged blocks, no nothing. Took us about 22.5 minutes to run the test. Average scanning speed was 84.7 megabytes. I'm sure it was about the same on the other one. Okay, well, after running the error tests, I found this extra test section here. So I decided to run it on both drives to see what my results would be. And here's the results of the first drive. And the results of the second drive. Both drives are almost identical, which I'm sure if I ran these tests a few times I could get them a little bit different, because the results will always be different most of the time. So now it's on to transferring some data.